Hello everyone, so I'm here with the beautiful Amy Burton of A Tranquil Soul, and we're going to just have a conversation about life and health and essential oils and all of the other things that Amy does as part of her everyday life and as part of her work. So I guess I kind of want to start off by just asking you, Amy, like what you tend to do just on a day-to-day basis and what your time is taken up by doing.
Okay. So I'm a really big believer in good self-care and taking time out to create balance, clarity, and be aligned in what we're doing in all aspects of life. So I have a back problem. So how I started doing yoga about 6 years ago for my back problem. So that's become part of my daily routine. But yoga is all other things as well as just being the flexibility and everything else in it. So kind of my days and my routine as a rule is I like to move my body, I like to move my mind, and I like to put something in my body that's going to be good. So essential oils, drinking lemon water, doing some, eating right, that type of thing. But yeah, I definitely find if I don't do the yoga in the morning, the meditation, and even like using whatever blend I've created for wherever I am in my hormones and that type of thing where I'm in life, it really brings me off kilter. So it's made me really realise that actually, I need to be consistent, and that consistency, it's not about just doing the same thing day in, day out, but it's about doing the same subjects, so doing something to make your body move, to make your mind move, to challenge yourself, to push yourself out of them comfort zones. And I just think that's really important as we grow and we evolve in this crazy ride of life. But yeah, I find definitely they are the things that keep me in balance, and I think that's so important with how society is, how life is. It's so fast paced, and I really invite people to slow down, to stop, to enjoy the stillness, to think about, be present in that moment, to think about where you're going and what you're doing and what's your purpose. That's a really big thing, is finding your purpose in everything that we do. Even the mundane stuff, it's about finding a purpose in it. So yes, definitely, since I've been on the spiritual path and doing all of these things and working with the moon, using crystals, I'm the healthiest I've ever been, the most balanced I've ever been, I'm the strongest I've ever been. I'm clear in what I want, in where I'm going, and I just think it's a no-brainer for me to start to bring in all these different tools, because there's loads of different things. It looks different for everybody. And what I say to my clients a lot of the time is, your balance is going to look completely different to what mine is, because we've all got different responsibilities, different commitments, and we all like doing different things. But I say as a rule, especially with my coaching clients, do the things, put good things into your body, say nice things to yourself, move the mind, move the body. You can do them every single day, you will build up a really good resilience for life, and it'll help you manage those stressful times and those difficult times. You'll be able to come at it from a more calmer and grounded place, rather than already being up here because you've not brought yourself down. And then that's when people spiral, and and there's all different extremes of how people react and how they move forward in those situations. But yeah, massive believer in self-care and taking good care of ourselves. So I think we've become very detached from our bodies and very detached from our minds. The body is constantly communicating with us. It's constantly telling us when something's out of balance, something's not right. But society is so fast-paced, life is so fast-paced, we don't listen to it. And this is why, people then, they don't realise they've got major illness until it's really, really bad. But really good example of that is, stomach problems, like people who suffer with anxiety, naturally they tend to have digestive problems, things like IBS, and even leading into Crohn's. So I work with so many clients that suffer with anxiety, and especially with Reiki, the energy healing. Suddenly they notice that they're not having the symptoms, not having the flare-ups, they're not having the acid. And I'm like, because we've removed that blockage in that solar plexus. So I work a lot with the chakras, and that's what that governs. So time and time again, since I've been doing my business for 3 years now, it's just that's constantly been reaffirmed. So, looking after the gut and managing the stress and managing the anxiety will then reduce the physical impacts that they then have on the body.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely love that. And it sounds like you've developed some really good practices for taking care of your body, taking
Yeah,
care of your mind, and just really supporting yourself in life. And
yeah,
I absolutely love what you said about how people can just get so distracted by what's going on in life that we can just completely lose connection and awareness of our own bodies and the needs of our bodies, and in kind of taking care of those needs. I think it's such a prevalent issue, and it's
mhm,
one that I've recognized in life, just from seeing how people can just be so focused on work and paying bills and going out, and just
yeah,
completely lose track of that day-to-day awareness of the messages that our body gives us
yeah,
constantly, that tells us we need to drink water, or we need to
yeah,
take in some decent nutrition, or we need to
yeah,
move, or we need to be still. And
yes,
I love that you've developed really healthy practices for addressing those needs,
yeah,
and really taking the time to listen to your body, what your body needs in that moment, and doing what feels right for you, and
yeah,
then teaching that to other people.
yeah.
I think that's amazing. So I'd really love to hear more about A Tranquil Soul and how that started, and what inspired you to want to do this kind of work around health and well-being and spiritual development.
Okay, so I'll go a little bit back in my life then. So when I was in my teenage years, I suffered really bad with depression and anxiety. Naturally they tend to go hand in hand. But yeah, I really struggled from being 13 up until I've been about 20. Just really, I think it was finding myself, not being confident in myself, not being comfortable. I always felt like a bit of an outcast. I never really was in the popular groups, and there were just lots of things where I felt like I was being shunned from that social group, or I wasn't being accepted into them. So then naturally, being a teenager, all you want to do is be accepted and be around and be with a popular gang. So that kind of spread into depression, and I used to worry like crazy. If my parents were 10 minutes late, then I think the worst, like they'd been in this horrific car accident, I was never going to see him again. It was so irrational, which, as you can imagine, like having those thoughts, it's tiring, and just be constantly living in that fear. So I got into like my 20s, and then you kind of find going out, and then I found myself a little bit more, and I found a really fantastic group of girls who are still my best friends to this day. And I just kind of started getting that confidence in myself, and thinking it's all right to be different, it's all right to be a bit unique. And then I think obviously once you start working and you meet different people and you're exploring all different characters of life, I just started to kind of fill myself up, and then the depression started to leave me because I think my vibration had changed. I started looking at life differently. I started being a bit more carefree, perhaps a little too carefree. So it was just about finding that balance. And then when I was 28, I had another dip with depression, and it just hit me like a train, and it kind of came out of nowhere. And I was to the point where I'd gone back to the doctors, I'd gone back on some tablets. And then I was just like, I can't do this. I can't let this depression constantly linger around and just suddenly sweep me off my feet when it feels like it. That's how it felt. It was like that was controlling me. So I decided to start to look into some self-development, some self-help. And that's when I found things like affirmations and journaling. And even though I'd had counselling, I'd been to see various therapists, it was all very new. I was like, oh my God, like this seems completely new to me. So that's when I started my practices of journaling, letting go, and I started doing a little bit of moon work. So I was like, oh, what should we do in a full moon? So started doing that type of things. And then crystals have always come and gone in my life. And then I was like, okay, I really want to get back into crystals. And then, so that was kind of a little, I like to call myself a bit of a closet witch, or I was back then. So I was a little bit secretive in what I was doing, and like I didn't really tell anybody. And even my partner, I was like, I'm just going upstairs to do something. I was going upstairs to meditate. I was like, God, he's going to think I'm absolutely crackers. Like I just need to do this. And then like as the years went on, I just felt calmer. I felt more at peace in myself. I was in a job which was about helping people. My background's health and social care, so I've always been a giver. It's always been about helping people get better, feel better about themselves, that type of thing. And I was kind of like, this isn't really what I want to do, but I don't know what I want to do. And I've kind of worked up, I've got to a really good position. Do I want to throw that away? And again, what society dictates to us, that we need to have that car and that big house and that, you know, all that. I was really torn between, oh, is that what I want? Or is that what society is telling me what I want? And then I had a dream when I was 31, and basically in this dream I was just this white light, and when I put my hands on people I was healing them. And I was like, oh, this is really bizarre. And I'd always been interested in reflexology. So I thought, oh, maybe I need to learn reflexology. So I got in touch with this lovely woman up in Ilkley. And she was really honest. And she just says, look, you know, you're not a therapist. She says, I'm really concerned about you paying over £500 to do this reflexology course for you to hate it. She says, I really think you need to do something else just to see whether you're going to like this kind of the complementary therapies, the holistic world. I was like, fair play. I said, what do you recommend? So she says, Reiki. I thought, well, I've never heard of Reiki. And she's like, oh, it's an energy healing treatment. She says, I'll send you some information. I'll send you this website. So she sent me this website and I was reading it. I'm going, oh my God, that's a dream that I had. I was giving people Reiki. And that was it. I was like, that's what I need to do. So I booked in to do that in November 2015. Quickly went back in the January the following year and did my level 2. And then when you do your level 2, that's when you can start to heal people. So you can give Reiki to other people and you can charge for it. So kind of, okay, let's just like throw it out there to the universe. Let's just see what's going to happen, where it's going to go. And I got one customer and they told a friend, and then I got another customer, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like, this is being presented to me now. And by this point on my spiritual journey, I was very much into the law of attraction. I was working a lot with Gabrielle Bernstein. So I was reading all of her books, and just things was just clicking into place. So I birthed a Tranquil soul. So after probably about 4 weeks of deliberating over names and what felt good and what didn't feel good, finally settled with a Tranquil soul. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to just do Reiki. I feel like I want to offer more. So my mum suggested, she says, why don't you do Indian head massage? She says, because then it's, you know, you're not just working on bodies. You know, he's working like on the head, and not because at that point, I didn't think I was interested in massaging people. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I found a course, did that, loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is a game changer. Like, all my ideas have, you know, completely changed. Yeah. So I was still working full time, and then I was still just building up my business. So working on an evening, working on a Saturday, and I just literally did those 2 treatments for about a year. And then I was like, I think maybe I could actually make a business of this. I think I could become self-employed, and it's always been a dream to be self-employed, like for a lot of people. I've got to the point in my employment where I was getting very disgruntled with basically earning money for other people and me not benefiting from it. So in my role, I was coming up with all these new ideas, all these new ways of working, and then the higher management would take them, and I was like, oh, that's not settling with me very well. It's making me a bit angry. Another sign to get out. So then I did aromatherapy massage, and then learned how to create my own blends using aromatherapy, and that's what got me into doTERRA then, and using their oils. So fast forward, we're into 3 years. I've been completely self-employed since September 2018. The business is just building and growing and expanding. I've moved, now I have a whole treatment list. So I do reflexology to Reiki, full body massage, crystal healing, chakra balancing. And now it's expanding into, I'm a life coach. So that's starting to build up the coaching side of things. I run workshops, which is all about what I'm talking about, spiritual development. I host a monthly group, which is called the Spiritual Transition Tribe, which is where like-minded people can all come together I lead it, and only have like a different topic every month. And then we'll do some group work, and then I might do like tarot readings, or teach them how to use pendulums. And it's just a place where people can connect and not be a closet witch, but when you can come out and you be around like-minded people, you know, you start to get that confidence. I run moon ceremonies, so we do them for the new moon and for the full moon. I'm going to be doing cacao ceremonies, so that's a beautiful drink. It's really about activating that heart chakra and sending out love, receiving love, which is really, 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 really lovely. And then next year, because COVID's put a stop on things, I want to be running retreats. So, you know, the businesses, it's just kind of expanding and rolling. And the thing that I've learned, especially being on this self-development and spiritual path, is trusting the flow, trusting that process, going with it, you know, not resisting it. You know, things will come up, and obviously you still got a choice. That don't feel good, that does feel good. But you know, when you follow that vibration and you follow that frequency of what feels right, then you know, more opportunities just come for you because you're in alignment with what you're meant to be doing. So that's kind of my spiritual journey and what kind of put me into it. And then I think as well, because we're suffering from depression and anxiety, you know, we've all had some challenges which we can all relate to one another. You know, when I started the business, I wanted it to be something really personal. So I didn't want to be like rent of space in a salon. No disrespect to anybody else that does that, but I wanted my clients to come in, it's just me. So that's why when I started, my parents very nice let me use their summer house. And now I've had my own, I call it the Zen Den. So that's now been built, and that's in my garden. So, you know, it's a real experience from start to finish. I give my clients so much feedback, especially with the reiki and energy healing, and you know, even with the massage, because I do constantly pick up with the energies. So I feed that back to my client because I want to empower them. I want them to understand why they've perhaps been feeling like that, why they haven't been motivated, why they've been a bit sluggish. So then they can do something about it. And like the things I was saying earlier with the tips of what to do and to bring balance into your life, you know, I'll recommend these for clients, and you know, often, you know, they'll come back to me and go, what did you say about that, what did you say about that? And you know, I'm more than happy to, you know, give that as much information as they can, because I'm all about empowering people to take their own power back. Because when you're suffering from things, anxiety, depression, it controls your life. We're no longer in control. So I'm a real advocate for good self-care, good self-love, and just finding that balance. And I think, you know, naturally through my experiences and kind of everything what I've done professionally, you know, it's all led me to here. So I'm just trusting it, and where it will go long term, who knows?
That's absolutely amazing. And what I will do is I will make sure that I attach links of how people can connect with you and
How
have
amazing.
a look at the services that you offer, because it sounds like you offer some incredible services that a lot of people will really benefit from and are really benefiting from.
Yeah.
I think what I love about what you do is that you aim to develop that personal relationship with your clients, and you really care about them, and you do what you can to make sure that they have a good experience. And I know that when I've read like some of the literature about your business, that really comes through, and that's what I really admire about the work that you do. Like, you're really focused on the people that you work with, and I think that that's beautiful. And oh my god, there's so much of what you've just said that I absolutely adore. Like, I totally relate to being a closeted witch. Like,
Yeah.
I still am a closeted witch.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely love that vibration and exploring that the feminine nature of life.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I consider myself to be somebody who really embraces and tries to embody that kind of feminine, deeper, darker, spiritual nature of life. You know, it's not just about what we see, it's about what we feel as well. And that, to me,
Absolutely.
is what being a witch is about. It's about embodying and embracing wholeness and kind of
Yeah.
the wholeness of creation. And
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that, and I love that you birthed a tranquil soul, and I think that that's what creative essence and energy is about. And I love that what comes across is that you birthed this name, this idea, and it kind of started off as just like one or two services, and it's just bloomed and blossomed and grown and become its own thing. It's
Yeah,
just evolving, and
yeah,
it's almost like that's definitely how I feel with Essential Flow. Like, it just starts as an idea,
yeah,
and you just put it out there, and I imagine it as the idea itself is kind of just implanted into the universe, and then it just develops and grows and evolves into something beautiful. And I love that. Like, for me, it's like, you talk about being in alignment and following your own vibration, and for me
yeah,
that is the soulful path. Like,
yeah,
that's the path of life that I aspire to continue listening to and learning from and being with. And you're just continually being birthed into
yeah,
new experiences and new ways of seeing
absolutely.
things, and yeah, just new ways of being in the world. And it's a beautiful experience, and it's not one that I don't think everybody understands, but I think when you
Mhm.
get a grasp of what's on offer, when you do really listen to your
Yeah,
intuition, and you do really listen to your body, and you listen to the experiences around you and what they're teaching you, life just becomes an opportunity to just explore
yeah,
everything. It
yeah,
just opens up, and I love that. I love that that's what you experience in your business. I love that that's what you share, that's what you teach your clients, and that's what you embrace and embody with them. And you take them on a journey of self-care,
yeah.
self-love, and of healing. And I just think it's absolutely wonderful. And
Thank
you were saying that you use essential oils as part of your business. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of interested to know what it was that first attracted you to using doTERRA oils. Was it anything specific that you felt you wanted to introduce those particular oils into your life and into your business?
It was simply because when I looked into the company, I really liked the values and I really liked the ethics, and I liked that it was all ethically sourced. I like that they give it back, and it was more than just buying a peppermint essential oil. You buying that is filtering into something so much bigger, and as part of the collective of the planet. I just think as their energy as a company is really, really high. I think it's really, really positive. And the other side of it was with the fact that there was, such good grade oils. And I just thought, if I'm using these on clients, I need to trust, where these are coming from, and the fact that I'm all about natural living. And so, using essential oil that's not quite natural, it just didn't appeal to me, because, I'm forever telling my clients, put the medication in the bin, there's an oil for that. So, to do that, I needed to make sure if I made them up a blend that it would help with their headache rather than reaching for the paracetamol again. And then yourself, like when I realised like you did it, obviously I've known you for quite some years. We don't see each other often, but yeah, as paths have crossed every now and then, that was another sign. I was like, aha, I know Shaneen, I know I can trust her. I know that you were so passionate about it, and that's what really ignited my passion. I was like, oh, there's something in this. And yeah, and just that then, once you've initially signed up, it's just such an easy company to use. You can just go on, you can just order whatever you want. There's no pressure, there's no pushing. I can come to you if I need advice. There's so many help groups. I used to, well, I ain't got any horse clients at the moment, but I do reiki with animals, and some of them with horses. So, one of them I asked about what is safe to use with horses, and the information was invaluable. And you just think, gosh, and it's not about, because some people, it's not about just giving away all your knowledge for free, because there is a line and there's a boundary there, but it's about sharing that knowledge. And I'm a firm believer of, sharing knowledge. I think it's, that in itself is really empowering, and it gives people the confidence. And that's exactly what it did for me. Once there were various people saying the same oils and saying the same things, I was like, okay, these guys have obviously experienced that. So I can take that now and feel confident in using that in my treatments. But yeah, I just think it's a really, really good company. And I'd like, it's nice to be associated with them. I'm proud, when people ask, I'm like, yeah, doTERRA, this is the oils that I use, this is what I recommend. Here's my, my little website. If you want to order them, that's up to you, and then I leave it up to them. But yeah, when everybody always, and I get asked a lot, what oils do you use? And I'm like, doTERRA. And they're like, do you want to try some more? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I think with some of them as well, because I've used oils on and off for a long time, but never really understood until I've started, obviously, the aromatherapy. But you can tell difference, and I just think the smell, especially the lavender, like some cheaper brands of lavender, it's awful. It gives me headache. Whereas the doTERRA, I'm like, that's such a nice one. So yeah, you can tell difference. And I've even had clients that have bought cheaper ones, and then go, oh well, it's not working in the same way. I'm like, yeah, because that's cost you £1.50 where you need to spend the money to get the quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you said that, because my first doTERRA experience was with the lavender oil.
Oh
I was
yeah.
a sample of lavender, and like you, I'd used essential oils on and off over the years and never really understood different brands. I'd just buy whatever was cheapest.
Yeah.
Never really understood how they worked and how the quality affects the benefits of them.
Yeah.
I had a sample of lavender oil, and I remember trying it. I had a really beautiful experience with it, found it really relaxing, really calming. And then I thought, let me just compare this to the lavender oil that I've got.
Yeah.
And almost immediately I could smell the chemicals
Yeah.
in the essential oil that I already had, and I just threw all of my oils in the bin. That was me sold to doTERRA then. But yeah, they're such a beautiful quality. And having worked with the company for a couple of years now, like, I see how anchored they are into just the highest principle of life. They're so ethical, they're so moral. Like, they really do aspire to do everything they can to try and positively affect the lives of the people that they come into contact with. And like, I've seen that, and I kind of recognize it, and I've experienced it myself. So I think yeah, they are a wonderful company. So I'd like to just finish off by asking you what your favorite essential oils are, and why that is, and how you like to use them.
Oh, it's too many to choose. So I'll give you two answers. I'll go with what I tend to use in the den for my clients, and then I'll go with what I like to use. So in the den, so like I've already touched on it, I tend to attract a lot of clients suffering with depression, anxiety, stressful lives, like we can all relate to that. So my go-to is lavender, lemon and peppermint. Put them all three together, and I just find like the lemon's really good for the nervous system. Obviously that lavender's really nice and calming, but then the peppermint's uplifting. So and it smells lovely when you put that blend together. And I'll sometimes swap and change. So I like put more drops into the peppermint or more drops into the lavender, depending on what time of the day it is and depending what the client's got on afterwards. But I find they're really, really, really good. I find cedarwood, I use that quite a lot in the den if clients need grounding. So especially if they're having, massage and following on with reiki, and we've been having a chat before, or if I know them, or sometimes they come in, they're up here, and I'm like, you need to come down. So the cedarwood I find really earthy, so it works really, really well for that. I am a lover of ylang ylang, and I find that's really good, especially with women around hormones. So, whether it's menopause or, that time of the month, I find that's really, really balancing. And it's such a sweet, uplifting smell that they really, really like that. And then, really love bergamot. That's probably one of my favourites. And yeah, sometimes if a client comes in and they're like, you can tell they're just a bit on edge, I'm just like, have a sniff of that. And it really, they'll be surprised at how fast, oh, I'm just coming down now. So they are my go-to ones in the den. If somebody's got sick medical condition, or something's going on specifically with them, then if I can't think of anything intuitively, doTERRA, when I joined, they sent me a really handy leaflet, so it's got all the list of medical conditions or whatever ailments, and then the oil at the side. So I'll sometimes go through that and I go, okay, this is quite good. Arthritis, rosemary. I find that's fantastic for people who've got arthritis. So if they're having a massage, we use that because it's a warming oil. So they really get a nice relief from that. Personally, what I like to use, I have a couple of different like roller balls that I make up. So my morning one's just got citrus. So it's got lime, it's got lemon, it's got bergamot in there. I've got a headache one, which is peppermint and lavender. And I've got an evening one, which is clary sage and lavender. So that's just a nice relaxing one. Sometimes if I'm feeling a little bit flat, or if my energy levels aren't quite there, one of my favourite things to do, which I think you shared this with me, was to rub the oil into your feet. Yeah. So I'll put peppermint on my feet, and I'm soon up there.
It's really good for grounding as well. Is that I think connecting with the feet in any way is really good for just grounding energy.
Yeah, completely agree. And there's at the back of the head, if you put some peppermint on your fingertips, and if you just rub like that at the back of the head, that's quite good if you've got a headache, or if you're just getting that mid-afternoon dip, that it can stimulate you to come back up. So that's quite good. I do really like what's the name of it? Jasmine. I really like jasmine. I burn a lot of jasmine incense as well, so I think it just relates to that. But I think jasmine reminds me of going on holiday somewhere as a child, so I relate that to be really happy memories. So I do like jasmine, but yeah, I am a complete citrus kind of girl, and I love the peppermint and I love the lavender. The other ones don't get a massive look in unless it's a specific what I need them for, but that's just kind of how, again, intuitively, I have found that they work best for me. Yeah. But yeah, I love them all. I just think they're amazing, absolutely amazing.
They sound like such fantastic oils, and I think you're absolutely right. One of the wonderful things about them is they are intuitive, and you can pick and choose the ones that work with your chemistry, the ones that work with your body and with what you want to use them for at the time. Yeah. But I absolutely love the sound of those blends. They sound amazing. Thank you so much for sharing those with us, and for sharing your time. I've really enjoyed talking to you. This has been an amazing conversation, and I will definitely make sure that everybody knows how to get in touch with you and to look you up to see what services you're offering. And it'd be great to chat to you again sometime.
Yes, definitely, Shaneen. That's been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So take amazing care of yourself. Thank you.